Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and as I'm kind of working myself up to plan the build that I'm going to do my Elden Ring content with, I thought, and especially now that Zelda Week is over, which by the way, I hope everyone had fun with that. I know I did. I was thinking, well, Zelda Week has actually brought in a few new subscribers as well as participators on my Discord server, so first of all, to everyone new to my channel, welcome. I appreciate you deciding that this dumbass on the internet was worth spending some free time on. I really do appreciate that. But I thought this would be a good time to share especially for some of the newcomers, some of my favorite personal builds. Now, those of you who are not new to the channel, those of you who have been around for a while, these builds will seem familiar, but remember, this is for the benefit of the new people here. And I also wanted to revisit these builds to see if they are still as effective as I remember them being. And we're going to start with the very first build I ever beat the game with, as far as I remember. Now, I could very well be wrong about this, but I believe... See, at the time, it was this. If I recall correctly, it was Bouncing Surge, Tracer Barrage, Wavefront, and Bolt Rail. Now, I don't know how well this... Wait, was it Bouncing Surge or was it Bouncing Bubble? I think it was Bouncing Bubble, actually. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Bouncing Bubble is not as good as it used to be. It used to launch 5 bubbles, and it used to be... well, I'm not going to say it used to be. It used to launch 5 bubbles, and one of the things that's different about the way that I play now is that I tend to play with the retro floor plan, which means double the number of enemies, which means that Bouncing Bubble isn't as effective of a control method as it used to be. So this ought to be a very interesting method of play to see how this works out. Now, I did just roll the die, but you guys probably didn't hear it because it landed on soft paper, so I'm going to roll it again. Alright, we're going classics. So it'll be interesting to see how this build holds up to time. And we are going to start with Atlas because this is a very projectile-heavy build. And if I'm going to deal with that, I would rather have Atlas out of the way so I don't have to deal with the stupid mirror shield things. Now, fortunately... Okay, those of you who are new to the game might not realize the mistake I just made there. Those of you who are familiar with how the game works and the best way to kite the enemies will realize that trying to dash through all the enemies to get to the other side of them is not a good idea. If anything, what I should have done there is just backed up and bottlenecked them into that corridor. Oh, Tracer Barrage, how I love you. To this day, it's still one of my favorite signature spells. Even when things like that happen. So, because Bouncing Bubble isn't as effective as it used to be, it actually doesn't make a lot of sense to lead off a fight with that. It actually... Oh, hello. Yes, this is very important. With the Awe Robe, it's very, very important to make sure that you get robe upgrades if you see Seville. Like, I would say with the robe upgrade is even more important than it is with any other robe. But yeah, you'll notice what I'm doing is I'm saving Bouncing Bubble for when there's only a few enemies left. That way I'm getting the most bounces off of those enemies. Now, in normal circumstances, when you're not running the retro floor plan, you can probably get away with leading off the fight with Bouncing Bubble. Just in this, but with retro floor plan on, it's not really recommended. And also because my next two enemies are going to block fire-based damage, I don't think Raging Inferno is what we want. I would actually go on to say that most of these aren't going to be very effective for this build. So, on we go. Beautifully fought battle there. I was gonna go back for that health orb near the entrance, but I don't need it now. Oh, there we go. Now we're talking. Give me that. Give me that. And we all know that Shearing Chain is particularly strong with critical hit builds, so I'm probably going to grab that. But I want to see what's available in the rest of the area first. I would also like to point out that for a little while after the game's release, there were no such thing as elemental mages and whatnot. Most enemies only came in one or two varieties, and there was a lot less to worry about than there is now. So, the game has definitely become harder. As enemies got access to new spells, new abilities, as the game just progressed after its launch and things became more fleshed out, there's just been more to worry about. I wouldn't call it power creep, though. Not anything like that. It just kind of felt more like it was becoming more fleshed out, more realized. And you know, I can get down with that. The developers really put a lot of care and attention into this game, and especially for a guy like me that likes his action roguelike games, it really felt good to see this game getting fleshed out. am still a fan of action roguelite games. Because nowadays, most roguelites are card battlers, and that's just not the same thing. So silver spinning top is probably would probably be my go-to here. It will result in me being super slow though, so I'm not sure if I want to take it. Like, I guess, what do I value? My Arcana activation speed or my movement speed? Now, if I were going for complete min-maxing, I would probably take the silver spinning top. Or, for those of us that play Magic the Gathering, the Sensei's Divining top. It just seems like anytime you have a magical top in a game, it becomes overpowered. I don't know, maybe that's just the inception in all of us. Look at that, this one little path that I ignored actually had what I wanted. Alright. I'm gonna grab this and this, and then we'll also grab Shearing Chain. Frankly, all three of these spells are particularly good, but I want to... Let's see. Well, actually, how would this best work out? Actually, Dynamic Disarray would work out better. Ooh, we've got a box of sweets. Ain't it tasty? But yes, I am going to leave the silver spinning top behind. I just get annoyed by how slow it makes you. And yes, it's probably my fault for valuing that over activation speed of your Arcana. When I'm looking to do absolute min-maxing, then I'll grab it. How about that? Alright, good fight if I say so myself. Fading Petal. That would be much better in a different type of build, so I'm going to leave that alone. Oh, whoops. I jolted my keyboard stand as I was shifting positions in my chair. That silly burning archer. Tricks are for kids. The obvious bonus of Wavefront being what you just saw there is that when you have the circle around you while you're dashing, it acts like a shield and helps block some damage. Alright, so we've got the Dynamic Disarray upgrade. I can take that. I like it. I don't know about Volt Pinball, though. It's not that it wouldn't work in a build like this, it absolutely would. Ow. Alright, well that was a mistake. Not the costliest mistake I've ever made, but a mistake nonetheless. One thing you probably also noticed about Bouncing Bubble is that it does a really good job of charging your signature. I think that is just one of the inherent bonuses of Bouncing Bubble, is that has... And I don't know if there's any actual stats to back this up. It just seems like it has really good signature buildup. We definitely take this. Because even just a little bit of additional damage has a lot of effect when you're running a critical blow. As far as the signature spell build-up thing, that may very well just be confirmation bias. Like, I'm just being completely open and frank, there may not be anything to that. It could just be that I use it a lot. Now we're running into a problem. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take advantage of Dr. Song's generosity, because I will end up giving her Bouncing Bubble, and I want to keep that. Now, admittedly, Bouncing Bubble wouldn't be the biggest loss in the world. I could just replace it with Volt Pinball. I'm just not sure that's what I want to do, because Bouncing Bubble is one of my favorites. Again, we're dealing confirmation bias here. Cut me some slack. I think we'll just go without. I'm not exactly having a huge amount of trouble with the run anyway, so... As you can see, with this build having so many things that perform multiple hits, it's not too hard to rack up a whole bunch of damage. So with the way things are now, what you want to do is start a fight with either Tracer Barrage or Dynamic Disarray, and get enemies stunned and having to deal with something else entirely before they even engage you, and then just proceed to blast their faces off while they're hit stunned. Now, Dynamic Disarray is one of those things that didn't exist when the game first came out. It was a spell that was added to the game later. So I did not have this when the game first came out. I'm very happy it's been added to the game, as I love these kind of bouncing chain spells. But it wasn't a thing when the game first released, and those guys just interrupted my Tracer Barrage because I tried to cast it too close to them. And they just slapped me and interrupted my casting. And I probably should have saved that for something else. This time, let's save it for the next encounter. Or, you know, we'll just slam into a wall face first. So I had begun this episode by positing the question, is Bouncing Bubble still worth using with Retro Floor Plan on? Honestly, I'd say yes, because even though it's not doing as much damage, it still gets a strange amount of signature buildup just because of how many enemies it's hitting at once. But then there's the added bonus... Hold on. I am gonna grab this. Because even when you're by yourself, it does +5 damage, +5 move speed. Percentile, of course, not additive, so +5%. Let's not get it mixed up. Because, alright, so what Bouncing Bubble is still capable of doing is it's still capable of interrupting enemies with just bouncing, long-lasting hitboxes. So it's good for annoying the crap out of your enemies. We will take Mercenary's Dagger. Okay, cool. We can afford that. I have plenty of lightning as is, so I'm not too worried about... Not too worried about buying more. Oh, I just noticed something. This is kind of big, so when you're using Mercenary's Dagger, it might not be a good idea to have Bouncing Bubble, because that 4 over there, that's 4 separate casts, not just 4 activations of the spell. So what the 7 is counting up on Dynamic Disarray is how many of those electric spears it launches when you cast the spell. It's still 1 casting. Bouncing Bubble is 4 separate castings, so therefore it costs 3 gold for each bubble you launch. Okay, now that I look at that, now it might have been worth it to give up Bouncing Bubble. Alright, so that is good to know. It's a little something for Mercenary's Daggers. Don't take it when you have a build that focuses heavily on multiple cast spells. Well, I made my bed. But I might not necessarily have to lie in it, depending on how much money I have to spend on Arcana. It might also not even be that big of a deal, as I'm getting into the later parts of the run, where I'm not going to have to worry so much about my gold count. And I'm still gaining money, so it's not like it's the worst thing in the world, but again, if you're min-maxing a run, that is something to keep in mind, as you obviously don't have infinite amounts of money. I don't know if I want Shock Nova or not. Let's wait and see what relics are for sale, because right now, more relics to round out and power up my build are more so what I'm going to be looking for. Of course, the other thing to remember is that when you have the Mercenary's Dagger, you don't need to pay to use you don't need to use coins. I guess you're not necessarily paying to cast spells. You kind of are. It's not like, we're EA, give us money and you can, play the fucking game. No, this is drop a few coins into the magical vending machine that is the Mercenary's Dagger, and your spell will be stronger. I guess in essence it's pay to win, but it's not quite that bad. Well, Well, that didn't work. Hello, Cremire. I will give you that. Oops. Down with you, boy! Shock wire. I don't know if I want that. Actually, let's look at it. I guess it is a nice little you stay over there in your corner spell. What the hell, let's work with it. It's not gonna hurt to give something new a try. I'm not a big fan of those wall spells just because of their limited range, but they have their uses. Now, if I discover that shock wire can block enemy projectiles, then we'll have something incredible going. Am I seeing anything here that I particularly want? Singing bowl. Ooh, I hope I find the Crimson Clover now, because that'll turn Crimson Clover from a double-edged sword into a reliable method of evading enemy attacks. Crimson Clover is also absolutely viable for... Oh, did it just block an enemy projectile? Hold on, this might just be one of the best spells ever. Oh, that was quick. If I were speedrunning this, we'd be out of here. I know what you were thinking there, Mr. Chaos Knight. No, I'm not already dead. I know your tricks too well. You can't just teleport behind me and expect victory. Ooh, is Taffy gonna give me a good freebie? Nope. Actually, I'm not a big fan of Flame Cross, so bye. Bye, see ya, never want to see you again. Okay, so Shockwire is a nice little defensive tripwire to use. You know what? I kind of dig it. I do not want Mystic Monopole. Alright, we are going west then. You know what Shockwire is reminding me of? It's reminding me of Splatoon's Splash Wall. It's just something nice and useful to camp behind while you shoot at your enemies. Or put up a defensive barrier so that you can turn and handle something else. Okay. Now that I understand that, I like it a lot more. And now we don't just have one splash wall, we've got 3. This would be like the super souped up splash wall. The soup wall, if you will. Oh, Jesus. Do I take it? Yes? Or no? Yes? But maybe no. Maybe. It is my theory. The theory of yes or no. I'm not going to take a chance. One of these days, though, I will take it to great effect. And I have used it to great effect before, but... ugh. Every time I see it, I go, watch me now completely throw and lose the entire run, just because I wanted more damage. Like, right there, that would have been devastating. Now she's going to use that. I don't think I necessarily want to use this as is, but if I had the pop-up primer, it would be fantastic. Because that would essentially give me a doubled area with a nice little Venn diagram of mega damage. Oh my god, it blocks projectiles. Alright, Shockwire really has a splash wall. Alright, well I don't need any of that. Now, it's not very good against Sura, obviously, because he doesn't suffer from status effects. He just kind of doesn't care. So, actually... Wow, I got up buttons. Oh, why did it go? What? I got up buttoned again. Up button, why are you doing this to me? We've had such a strong working relationship for so long. and there we go. Actually, Ward of Lightning kind of came in clutch there. That was fun. I'm glad I got to use it. I'm also glad that my original Bouncing Bubble build still works. Granted, it requires better positioning now than it does when you're not using the retro floor plan. But using the retro floor plan, the bubbles, instead of racking up huge damage, rack up huge stun. And that's great for controlling the field. That was a lot of fun to play again. I also got some good use out of Ward of Lightning, and that was a lot of fun too. And admittedly, it only came in clutch at the very end of the run, but that's still something, and it should show you that if you're willing to think outside of your comfort zone, you can find some really fun things to play around with. And Shockwire blocks projectiles, and that makes it one of the most interesting and fun defensive spells I've seen in a while. Like, I might try to make maybe not an entire build around Shockwire, but it's a great defense, and I absolutely loved playing around with it. This was all around positive. So I hope you guys got a lot of fun out of this too. Next time I do Wizard of Legend, which won't be long from now, I will show off another one of my favorite builds. I'm just going to show you guys a few of my favorites, but what I really want you to do is share with me some of your favorites, either in the comments or on my Discord. Obviously, the link to that will be in the description, because what I want to do next week is I want to try out some of your suggestions. Like, whether it be a theme run or something that you really enjoy and you want to see me try to use. And yes, I guess that is opening me up to you guys making me do a friggin' meme run, but you know what? I guess if that's what I'm opening myself up to, I'm just gonna have to accept it. So let me know what you guys have. You've got roughly a week to get your submissions into me, and then we can really start having a lot of fun with this. For now, I want to say thank you guys very much for coming and spending your free time with me. I really do appreciate you. All you newbies, both in my Discord and just to the channel, I hope you're having a lot of fun with my content. I hope to keep seeing you back here. I hope you're all having a fantastic day or night wherever you may happen to be, and I will catch you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and take care, everyone.